Miracle Makers, there are so many regions of your brain that play a significant role. One of the most important areas for trauma and your brain and functioning as you do in the world. You get 4 billion bits of information per second. Your brain and your body can only fully register 2,000 bits. And you make choices based on the 2,000 bits of information that you've registered. What part of your brain, what regions are playing an important part to help you be able to access the increased possibilities that are available for you in your life? I want to say that another way. There are lower bits of information and higher bits of information. How can you get lucky, right? But Oprah Winfrey says luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And what you're registering, what part of your body helps you be prepared? It's your hippocampus. What is the hippocampus? Why is it so important? Your hippocampus is a small region of the brain. It's located at the base of your brain near the pituitary gland. It's this very small region, plays a crucial part in so many parts of you. It releases hormones, it regulates body temperature. Mostly, it maintains daily physiological cycles. It controls appetite. It manages your sexual behaviors. And then get this, it regulates your emotional responses. Emotion, right? Energy in motion, feelings, what's magnetic, the hippocampus, and really, really so beautiful near the pituitary gland. You access the higher dimensions, the higher possibilities through the pituitary gland, and it's very close to the hippocampus, 3 main regions. There's an anterior region, and this helps you see. It includes the supraoptic and the paraventricular nuclei. In other words, it helps you be able to recognize what you're seeing, supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei. So when you're not getting the ideal sexual appetite control, the physiological cycles, the body temperature, the releasing of the hormones. So when your hypothalamus is not working ideally, you're not necessarily seeing the higher regions, right? Yeah, the higher possibilities. And some of the important hormones that are produced in the anterior region include CRH, which is the corticotropin releasing hormone, the TRH, the thyrotropin releasing hormones, gonadotropin releasing hormones, the GRH, and oxytocin, vasopressin, and somatostatin. We've talked about some of these in other classes. They're available within Miracle Makers Academy. You just have to go back in and search the Academy for some of this stuff. Some of this is really new, but it basically comes back to this anterior region helps regulate body temperature through sweat. Your sweat informs others of what you're going through. There was a study done of people on treadmills, and they were shown images of disaster and trauma. And and then there was another set of sweat, and their sweat was collected in sponges. So there were pleasant pictures shown to a different group, a control group, a not control group, images shown to the same sweat, the same images, different rooms. Other people in the room with the sponges that soaked up stress sweat, their body became stressed. Thoughts and emotions, right? Your thoughts are electric, your emotions are magnetic. When you're stressed, you're going to release stress sweat from your body, and others will know it. If you're really able to ask for help, you will release and become balanced in your body, in your sweat, in the hypothalamus. If you're not balanced, if there is guilt for feeling that way, if there is shame, if there is indifference, less trust is built when others smell it. It's really interesting. That's what studies show. That's just the anterior region, right? The hypothalamus is so important. The middle region, the tubular region, major nuclei. And again, you're so smart. Your body's so smart. Your thinking and your emotions. It's the ventromedial and arcuate nuclei. And these regions control appetite. And so if you're eating, when you're eating unconsciously, you're eating because something is eating you, right? Some emotion or some energy is eating you, and you don't know how to address it yet. The hypothalamus, right? The control centers, the appetite. Now we have over 7,500 chemicals that turn off this middle region and have you craving it. This region, this arcuate nuclei region is involved in growth hormone releasing hormone. So GHRH. The pituitary gland produces growth hormone. So GHRH stimulates the pituitary gland to create growth hormone. And again, that's controlled by the hypothalamus. Then we've got the posterior region, which has the mammillary region and the posterior hypothalamic nucleus. And this main region regulates body temperature and causes shivering. It causes shivering and blocks sweat production. So if your body is not able to accurately produce sweat, there's one person that I worked with, actually two, that their body was not able to produce sweat. There was a region of their brain for multiple generations that had been shut off. This posterior hypothalamic nucleus did not allow them to shiver, and it didn't allow them to have empathetic memory for another. When they started developing empathy, it's really beautiful. This posterior region of the hypothalamus memory function allowed them to have relationships that were working and filled with joy. Now, all of this has to do with trauma. This posterior region, if we shake like animals shake, and I love the song by Taylor Swift, right? There's this incredible song by Taylor Swift that says, just shake it off, right? We have the ability to shake off the past and shake off the things that are not working. And that's what the hypothalamus does for us. And it's something that you can cultivate. Ducks, when they're male ducks, when they're going after a female duck, move into this courting and kind of try and force the female duck to male ducks at the same time. At the end of that, the two male ducks will shake off the stress. You'll see that with polar bears. You'll see that with lots and lots of animals. For us, we shy away from shaking things off publicly, right? There's several things that can cause that are hypothalamic dysfunction. Head injuries. You've hit your head, you've been in car accidents, your sleep cycles go off, your appetite. Again, 7,500 chemicals that have been produced since the 1950s. Growth hormone deficiencies are really addressed by this area. Birth defects, again, tumors, and autoimmune conditions, many of them not your fault, go back to the family and the dysfunction that wasn't addressed by them. So go ahead and stop the recording here, please.